Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya
Asmadacharya
Paryantam
Paryantam
Vande Guru
Vande Guru
Paramparam.
Paramparam
Om Sahana
Sahana
Bhavatu Sahana
Bhavatu Sahanau
Bhunaktu
Punaktu
Sahaviryam
Sahaviryam
Karavavahai
Karavavahai
Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu
Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
That's it.
Okay, so we had finished the fourth Karika, and now we are on the fifth Karika. That's right, right? Yeah. So we will chant the fifth Karika. Trishu dham suyad bhojyam. Or should we be in the fourth Karika?
Yeah, we finished till 3.
3, okay, we should be in the fourth Karika. Sorry, my fault. So let's chant the fourth Karika. Sthulam tarpayate vishwam.
Sthulam tarpayate vishwam
Praviviktam tu tejasam.
Praviviktam tu taijasam
Anandascha tatha prajnam.
Anandascha tatha prajnam
Trida triptim nibodhataha.
Tritha triptim nibodhataha.
So we saw in the earlier Karikas, we have seen the three padas, the Gaudapadas commentary, the three padas, on the three sthanams, the three locations we saw, and the three bhogas we saw, right? So now he is talking about the three triptis, the three modes of satisfaction. So first we look at just the words. Sthulam, that is to say the gross object. Tarpayate Vishwam. Tarpayate means it satisfies here. Tripti, from the word tripti, it satisfies. Sthulam Tarpayate Vishwam. The gross universe satisfies whom? Satisfies Vishwa. Whereas Praviviktam. Praviviktam means the other one. So one is gross. What is the other one? Subtle one. Therefore, here Praviviktam is equal to subtle Sukshmaha. Sukshmaha Taijasam Tatha. Therefore, the subtle universe, subtle objects, they satisfy the Taijasaha. Tatha. And also Anandascha Prajnam. Ananda satisfies Prajna. And Nibodhataha. No. Trida Triptim. Know that these are the three modes of satisfaction. So that's what he's saying. Tripti Trayam is being talked about. Sthulam Tarpayate Vishwam, the gross universe, the Sthula Prapancha, or the objects of the waking state. When we say Sthula Prapancha, we are talking about Jagrat Avastha. So the objects of the Jagrat Avastha, whom do they please? Vishwaha. And Jagrat Avastha consists of what? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All these are meant for pleasing the Vishwa, the waker. So you remember here that Sthulam is the subject and Vishwam is the object of the sentence. Then Praviviktam tu Taijasaha, the other one, the subtle universe, which means all the subtle objects. And when you say subtle objects, subtle universe, we are talking about the mentally projected objects because you're talking about Taijasa. So it's a dream state, right? So in the dream state, all the objects projected by the mind, which are nothing but thoughts in the mind, what are they meant for? They are meant to satisfy the Taijasa, the dreamer. And similarly, Anandaha Prajnam. So Anandaha, which is the Karana Prapancha. The Karana Prapancha is Ananda because in Karana Prapancha, there is no division at all. There is Advaitam. And there are no problems. And therefore, Ananda does what? It is meant to satisfy Prajna, the sleeper. And Gaudapada concludes by saying, Tridha Triptim Nibodataha. Know that, Tridha, these three are the ways in which the Jiva is satisfied. In three ways, the Jiva is satisfied. One as Vishwa, one as Taijasa, and one as Prajna. Okay. Then we look at Karika number 5. Trishudham Suyad Bhojyam.
Vishuddhanshi yat bhojyam
Bhokta Yascha Prakirtitaha.
bhoktayash
भोक्तायश्च प्रकीर्तितः
Vedaitad Ubhayam Yastu.
वेदैतदुभयं यस्तु
vedaitat astu
Sabhunjano na lipyate.
स भुञ्जानो
sabhunjano na
यलिप्यते.
lipyate.
Okay, so now we are looking at the fifth Karika. He says, Saha Yaha, that person who what etat ubhayam veda. You can understand that person who knows both these two. Etat ubhayam veda. Who knows both these two. And which are these two? Bhojyam cha bhokta. That is, bhokta is the experiencer, the subject, and bhojyam is the experienced object. So we can think of it as pramata and pramayam, the knower and the known. And where have these been mentioned? This is not Gaudapada saying that these are not from my own imagination. Yaha chaha prakirtitaha. These have been mentioned where we have to supply in the Upanishad. The bhokta bhojyam pair, the enjoyer enjoyed, or the experiencer experienced pair, they have been mentioned in the Upanishad. So we know that, right? In the waking state, what is there? The Vishwa is the bhokta and the gross universe is the bhojyam. This is what we saw in the previous Karika. In the Swapna Avastha, the Taijasa, the dreamer is the bhokta and the subtle universe is the bhojyam. And in Sushupti Avastha, the Prajna is the bhokta and the Karana Prapancha. Now remember that the objects of the Karana Prapancha, when you say, we are talking about only Ananda. So the Ananda is the experienced object for the Prajna in Sushupti Avastha. And therefore he says, Saha Yaha Veda Etat Ubhayam. The person who knows these two, Bhokta and the Bhojyam pairs, Trishudhamsu, clearly understands these three pairs of experiencer and experienced in all the three states of experience. What happens? Sabhunjanaha, even as he is experiencing these states, even as he is being a Vishwa, as he is being a Taijasa, and even as he is being Prajna, na lipyate, he is not affected by the experiences. So here you have to say that Veda has to be understood as knows, but knows what? Knows that, can you supply? What is the knowledge here? He says he knows both the experiencer and the experienced, and he is not affected. What is the only way that that statement can be true? What is meant by Veda here? Understand.
The experienced is mithya and the OC is satyam. And the experiencer is satyam.
Okay, fine. So that is the preliminary stage when you say that the experiencer is Satyam and the experienced is Mithya. But you have to go one stage further. And that's what Shankara comments, that he both have to be understood as nothing but Turyam Brahma. The experiencer is Brahman. The experienced, remember, is Mithya. But Mithya is not separate from Brahman. So both have to be understood as Turyam Brahma. Even though superficially Vishwa is different from Taijasa, Taijasa is different from Prajna, essentially all the three are the same. Why? What is common among Vishwa, Tajasa and Prajna?
They are all consciousness only.
They're all me only. I am the consciousness principle. I pervade all three. The different names are given. Why? Not because I am different as consciousness, but because the reflecting media are different. The medium of transaction is different in every avastha. But behind this, as substratum of all these three media, I alone am there. I, Sakshi, Surya, Chaitanyam alone am there. Okay. Now here a question can be raised, which Shankara comments upon in various places, also in Bhagavad Gita. When we say that Sakshi is not contaminated by the objects it experiences, you are saying that the container does not contaminate the content, right? So the Purvapakshi gets up and says, how can you say that? Because any dirt in the container will contaminate the content. And therefore, supposing the milk bottle has got some dirt, the milk will get spoiled, right? And therefore, he says this statement that you make, that the content cannot be contaminated by the container, which is saying that Sakshi, the content, cannot be affected by the container, the world. That statement is wrong. What is the answer?
Both belong to different levels of reality.
Reality. Mithya cannot contaminate Satyam. And the one who illumines, therefore, one who reveals, cannot be contaminated by the object revealed. That's a very important idea. The sunlight, which is falling equally on the Ganga and on the dirty gutter, doesn't become better because it is falling in the Ganga. It doesn't become contaminated because it is revealing the gutter also. That is the idea here. We saw that in Manisha Panchakam, if you remember. Okay, now we look at Karika number 6. We will chant. So please unmute yourselves. Prabhavah sarva bhavanam
प्रभवः सर्वभावानां
tatamite vinashchayaha
Satamiti vanishchayaha.
tatamite vinishchayaha
Satamiti vinishchayaha.
sarvam janayati pranaha
Sarvam
सर्वं
janayati
जनयति
pranaha.
प्राणः
chetom shun purushah prithak.
Chetom shun purusha prathak.
पृथक्.
Okay, so in the sixth mantra, okay, this is the sixth Karika. In the sixth mantra, we said that Chaitanyam, which is obtaining, which is available during Sushupti Avastha, is called the Karana Atma. Okay. So who is that Chaitanyam? That Chaitanyam, I am. So when the Atma, I am in sleep state, from the Vyashti angle, I am called Prajna. And I can also be called Karana Atma. Prajna can also be called Karana Atma even in the individual point of view, even in the Vyashti also. In the Vyashti state also, individual state also, I, the RC, I, the OC, who is pervading the Sushupti Avastha, I can be called Karana Atma. Because I am associated with the causal body, I am called Prajna. So that because of that consciousness being associated with the causal body, I can be called Prajna, and that same Prajna can be called Karana Atma also. Right? Why Karanam? Because during Sushupti Avastha, your knowledge, your emotions, your problems, your individuality, they are not available to you. Where are they? Have they been destroyed? in Sushupti Avastha, is it correct to say that my knowledge, my problems, my emotions, my individuality has gone permanently?
No, the potential state.
No.
So they are available, right? They are available, but in potential form. And this Karanam, the cause, we know, is that state in which everything is available in potential condition, right? And therefore, as Prajna, I am Karana Atma, because everything, all my individuality, problems, everything is available in potential state. But when I come to Jagrada Avastha, that potential form is manifested. And again, when I go to Sushupti Avastha, everything resolves into the unmanifest potential condition. Right? This is the Vyashti level. Similarly, if you extend this idea to Samashti, the universal level, remember the Vyashti and Samashti are very similar. So if you extend the idea to Samashti level, the universal level, the sleep, who sleep at universal level? In individual level, it is I, the Prajna, who goes to sleep. At Samashti level, who goes to sleep into Sushupti Avastha?
Antaryami.
Antaryami goes to sleep. So in the Sushupti Avastha, at the level of Samashti, the sleep is called what? Pralaya, destruction, right? Individual sleep, remember, is called Nidra. So in Hindi and all, Nidra is used as for dreaming also, but in this particular context, it is the Sushupti Avastha, also known as Nidra, and Antaryami sleep, Ishvara sleep, is called Yoga Nidra, which is not the Yoga Nidra of Bihar School of Yoga. Let's remember, that's only a practice. But the Ishvara sleep is called as Yoga Nidra. So, in fact, the two terms, Yoga Nidra and Pralayam, they mean the same thing. Just like Nidra, the Vyashti level sleep, and Layam means the same thing. So, there are two sets of words. At Vyashti level, Nidra and Layam, sleep and Sushupti. At Samashti level, Yoga Nidra and Pralayam. These are two things, right? So at Antaryami level, in Pralaya Avastha, the entire universe is in unmanifest condition. This unmanifest condition, which is pervaded by consciousness, that is what we call Samashti Karana Nama Rupa, right? Like the Vyashti also, we call Prajna Atma. Here it is Antaryami, which is the Samashti Karana Atma. That alone is called Antaryami. And there is another word for Antaryami, which we must know as Vedantic students. Normally, when you say Ishvara, what do you mean? Technical terms.
Antaryami.
Maya Sahita Brahman.
Normally, you mean Maya Sahita Brahman, which is what?
Saguna Brahman.
Saguna Brahman.
Tattvabodha terms. What is it in Tattvabodha terms?
Hiranyagarbha.
Hiranyagarbha, right? So normally when you say Ishvara, you can either be referring to Hiranyagarbha if you're talking about the unmanifest state, or you can be referring to Virat if you're talking about the manifest universe. But remember that out of Antaryami alone, Hiranyagarbha comes, and Hiranyagarbha manifests as Virat. And therefore, the Karanam for both Hiranyagarbha and Virat is Antaryami alone. And therefore, Antaryami is really speaking from the Vedantic angle. When you say Ishvara, you are talking about Antaryami, the cause, the first cause. We always say Hiranyagarbha is first cause, but really speaking, Antaryami is the first cause. Okay. Therefore, Ishvara is called the Karanam, the cause, and the world, whether it be subtle universe or gross universe, is called Karyam. Right? The creation of, or creation, creation is not the right word, the manifestation of the world, of Jagat, from Ishvara, we call Srishti, creation, right? And if you see the sixth mantra, not the sixth Karika, the sixth mantra which we have finished, what did it say? Sarvasya prabhavapyayo hi bhutanam. The entire universe, prabhavaha and apyayaha. The entire universe, what does it mean? Sarvasya prabhavaha, sarvasya apyayaha. What did it mean? You have to remember
Origin and dissolution.
Origin and dissolution, right? So the sixth mantra talked about the fact the whole universe was originating out of the Ishvara and resolves out of Ishvara only. So here Gaudapada says Prabhavaha Sarvabhutanam. This whole universe, Sarvabhutanam means everything in creation, right? Whole universe arises out of Ishvara. So this is a theory of creation, right? And we should know that this theory of creation, which in the darshanas, they are called Srishti Vadaha. Vadaha meaning the discussion. The Srishti Vadaha means the discussion about creation, right? This is important in every system of philosophy. And of course, in science also it is important. Science calls it what? What is the word in science for Srishti? The theory
The
of
Big Bang. The Big Bang.
Big Bang is one of them, one of the theories. There are other theories. The steady state theory, there is the multiverse theory. All these are theories of creation. What are they called? In short, what are the theories of the origination of the world called in science?
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang is only one part of it. It's one of the theories. It's called cosmology. Okay, science has cosmology. We have Srishtivadaha, right? And I said there are many, many theories. Now, anybody who has, little experience, little knowledge about these theories, including other darshanas, including the scientific theories also, Big Bang, steady state, etc., you will know that none of these theories gives you an extremely satisfactory or a complete explanation about the creation process, right? And that is why now Vedanta wants to tell you why it is so. Why is it that nobody seems to be able to explain creation, right? And Gaudapada now in his commentary, in his Karikas, is telling us that there is bound to be this problem. You cannot explain creation. Why? Because the very word itself is a mistake. The word creation, the idea of creation, says Vedanta, is a big misconception in your intellect, right? And the very idea is a misconception. The very idea is a mistake. And now you are trying to build up theories around that idea. When the very idea of creation is a mistake, naturally any theory you build up will have lots of logical problems. So what is this basic misconception? We know that Einstein said E is equal to mc squared. What does it mean? What does the equation E is equal to mc squared stand for?
Matter and energy, conversion of matter into energy.
Right. E stands for
Yes.
energy, M stands for matter,
Matter.
C stands for the speed of light. It's a constant.
Yes.
So when you look at the particular E is equal to mc squared, it is saying that E energy is equal to M multiplied by a particular constant, which is in this case speed of light. Which means what? When there is an equation, it means they're interchangeable. E can be changed into M, M can be changed into E. So that very equation of Einstein, it says that matter can be changed into energy, energy can be changed into matter, only a change of form is possible. Destruction is not possible at all, which is the very basis on which the atom bomb works. Right? When that little bit of uranium is converted in an instant into energy, what happens? Remember that M, mass, is being multiplied by a huge factor, c squared, the speed of light squared. So the amount of energy released is huge. And when it is released in a small fraction of time, it is explosive. And therefore, Einstein's theory is that ultimately the extraction from the E is equal to mc square is that matter cannot be created or destroyed. Now we can say it's a scientific theory. It's based on science. Now my question is, did science invent this idea or did science discover this idea?
Discover.
It is already existing. The change of matter into energy is an already existing principle in the universe. The universe is created by Easwara. Easwara cannot violate the laws by which the universe has been created. And therefore, not even Easwara can create or destroy matter. When matter itself cannot be created or destroyed, and the entire creation is what? Panchamahabhutani. Panchamahabhutani cannot be created. Where is the question of the universe being created? That is the misconception. Okay. Now you might say, okay, fine. Creation has two aspects, anatma and atma. So we have been talking about matter, which means anatma. So now we have arrived at the conclusion that anatma cannot be created at all, nor can anatma be destroyed, because that is the way it is structured, that is the way it is made, right? And that is borne out by science also. What about the other aspect of creation? Atma. Atma also cannot be created. Atma also cannot be destroyed. How do you know? Because your Upanishads tell you that it's anadi. Consciousness is anadi. Consciousness is anantaha. It has neither a beginning nor an end. It cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. Therefore, if in that creation which consists of anatma and atma, atma cannot be created, atma cannot be destroyed. Anatma cannot be created, anatma cannot be destroyed. What then is created? What has been created?
Nothing. It's just change of form.
Nothing has been created. And therefore, when you ask a question like, when did Bhagwan create this world? Why did he create the world? How did he create the world? Right? Vedanta says your very questions themselves are incorrect, because they are all based on the incorrect assumption that the world has been created. And this is what is in Vedanta, we call it Ajativada. Ajata means never born. Ajativada means the creation, the universe is never born. Right? Matter cannot be created, destroyed. Therefore, only change of form is possible, which means it can be in avyakta avastha, unmanifest form, and some other times it can be in vyakta avastha, manifested form. And we have seen several, Gita slokas, right? Avyaktadini bhutani, vyakta madhyani bharata, avyakta nidhanani eva tatraka paridevana. Krishna said that all bhutanis, all beings, avyakt adini, they are unmanifest in the beginning. Vyakta madhyani, they are manifest for some time in the middle. And Nidhanan eva, after destruction, avyaktam again. Tatraka paridevana, what is the problem, Arjuna? This is the cycle of creation. And again we saw in 8th chapter, what did we see? Avyaktya sarvaha prabhavanti haragame ratriagame praliyante tatreva vyakta sanyake. We saw that also, right? Avyaktam to vyaktam is creation. Unmanifest to manifest, the change of form is what we call creation. And vyaktam to avyaktam, the change of form from manifest to unmanifest, is what we call destruction. Nothing more and nothing less. Okay, and this is what is said in the sloka. Gaudapada says, iti vinishchayaha, satam iti vinishchayaha. Iti vinishchaya, you should know what sarva bhavanam prabhavaha. Prabhavaha, the creation, sarva bhavanam, of whatever is created. Remember that all those are already satam. Satam means already existing. So he's saying whatever you think is originating, remember there is no origination. Sarva bhavanam satam, they are already existing. Right? All things in creation are already existing in potential form. They are only being brought to a manifest, a vyakta avastha, manifest condition, that is called creation. And not knowing this, people talk about various theories of creation as though many things are being freshly created. Now the question comes, if this is the case, how do we, or why do we commit this mistake of using the word creation? The reason is, when a thing is in potential form, Vedanta says, when something is available in potential form, remember it has no transactional utility at all. It is not useful to you in any transaction, right? Like the butter in the milk. You cannot use it for any purpose. The butter is not available to you unless it has been extracted. Or like the oil in the oil seed. Unless it is extracted, you cannot transact with it. And therefore, a potential existence is very often referred to as non-existent because it is not available to you for transaction. And the logic is that whatever is not available for me as a transactional entity, I don't recognize its existence. And therefore, this, like this butter and the milk, which I can't put on my bread, so I say I have no butter, even though I have the milk. Similarly, this universe in pralaya avastha, in this avyakta avastha, in this unmanifest state, cannot be useful for any transactions. So it is as though that universe is existent, is non-existent. And after it comes out of that avastha, of pralaya avastha, it comes into manifestation, vyakta avastha, it becomes useful. And therefore, when the universe comes into existence, very commonly it is being referred to as creation. Actually, what is the mistake? Instead of using the word manifestation, we are using the word creation. Really speaking, there is no real arrival at all. It is only change of form. Okay. And that, so he says, Sarvam Janayati Pranaha. Now you have to understand the word Pranaha very carefully here. It is not the breath. Here Pranaha is used in a very Upanishadic sense. In many Upanishads, Ishvara is referred to as Prana. So here Prana means Ishvara. So Pranaha, Ishvara, Sarvam Janayati, creates everything, the entire material world. Okay. Janayati is gives birth to. So Sarvam Janayati Pranaha. Because that Ishvara, he creates or gives birth to Sarvam, the entire world. So the entire world consists of what? It consists of Anatma and Atma. It consists of the conscious beings and the inert beings, right? So he says, Chetom Shun Purushaha Prataka. So you have to rearrange that. Purushaha Cheton Shun Pratakaha. Cheton Shun is what? Cheta Amshaha. What does it mean?
The consciousness.
Cheta Amshaha means the conscious Amsha, the conscious part. You have to connect it to Sarvam. Sarvam is the whole material world which consists of Achetana and Chetana. So he says, Purushaha Chetom Shun Prathaka. Purusha creates the conscious being separately. Purusha here being Ishvara, right? Prathak means separately. Why separately? Because they are distinct from Achetana Prapancha. Right? And Shankara gives an example to illustrate. So he talks about the example we have already seen in Mundaka. The sparks originating from the fire. What is the similarity to the fire? Mundaka Upanishad. Agni Visfulinga.
Yeah, Visfuling. They are of different types, different colors.
But is there any
Yes.
similarity?
They come and go.
All hot, warm. They are hot.
Different forms of
Both are the same reality because both are fire. One is just a form of spark and one is a fire itself.
Very good. Both are fire and both are bright, right? Both are hot and both are bright. Both fire essentially has two things, brightness and heat. That's present in sparks also. Therefore, Shankara says, Ishvara you can compare to the fire, Agnihi, and Visfulingaha, the sparks you can compare to Jivas, but they are not different. It is as if bifurcated, but really speaking, there is no bifurcation at all, right? And also he gives another example. He says, Jala Arkavat. Jala Arka means, Jalam is the water, Arka is the sun. Jala Arka means the sun reflected in the water. Here you have to supply a little bit. Just like the sun reflected in the water is similar to the original sun, which is being reflected. So in the same way, Shankara says, Jiva is a reflection of Purusha, of Ishvara. And the mantra doesn't say that, and Gaudapada doesn't say that, but Shankara adds by way of clarification, a very, very important clarification. He says, from Maya Pradhana Ishvara, remember, Maya is that person which transforms into insentient objects, into Anatma. Maya is the transformation of Maya takes place into Anatma, which is why everything you say is Maya, right? Maya is the Upadana Karanam, the material cause for the entire world. Maya plays the main role in the insentient creation, in Anatma, right? Now, here it's important to note, the consciousness there is lent by whom? By the Brahman part of Ishvara, right? So you have Ishvara, Brahman plus Maya. Maya gives rise to the insentient part, Brahman reflecting in some of those insentient parts gives rise to the apparently conscious part of creation. We should note here that there is a big difference in the interpretation of Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, etc. Right? In those darshanas, in Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika darshanas, Purusha is Nimitta Karanam, instrumental cause, efficient cause, while Prakriti, which we call Maya, is Upadana Karanam, the raw material. Remember other darshanas, Purusha is Nimitta Karanam. Don't say Ishvara because you're confused. So Purusha is Nimitta Karanam. Prakriti is Upadana Karanam. But in Vedanta, what do we say?
Abhinna nimitta
There is
upadana.
only one
We say
Brahman,
Abhinna Nimitta Upadana.
Nimitta Upadana.
Right? It is the non-different Nimittam and Upadana Karanam. And what is the example we should remember?
Spider.
Yadornabihi from the Upanishad, right? I'm not telling you which Upanishad, I hope you remember. The example of spider who is both Nimitta and Upadana Karanam. And therefore, here in this verse, Sarvam refers to Achetana Prapancha. Cheton Shuna is the Chetana Amsha, which refers to the Jiva. And therefore, final meaning is what? The Maya aspect of Ishvara is the generator of the insentient universe, Achetana Prapancha, while the sentient part of Ishvara, Purusha or Brahman, it is the reason why Vishwa, Tayasa, Prajna are there. Because they are the reflections. We don't see generation, they're reflections, right? Okay. So what is meant by creation of jivas? Remember that subtle body and gross body, bodies of all beings, of all jivas, are in the unmanifest potential condition during pralayam. During Srishti, creation, all these bodies and minds are manifested. And not only are the bodies and minds manifested, because the mind is capable of reflecting consciousness, RC is also generated. In short, when creation begins, the RMs are thrown out, and since OC is already there, immediately the reflection begins. Therefore, we can say RMs as well as RCs are as if created. In short, RM is what? Achetana Prapancha, inert universe. RC is what? Jiva, the conscious universe. In short, the inert and the conscious universe emerge out of Ishvara, the cosmic sleeper. Are we clear so far?
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. Shankara adds a note in his commentary, which we should note, right? Because we have seen this before. Sankhya Darshana has the theory of Asat Karyavada. What is Asat Karyavada?
Cause and effect.
Anybody else?
Things come out of nothing.
Yeah. So
Not
Asat
the
Karyavada says that the universe was not existent before it was born. Okay. From a Asat Karanam, the Sat Karyam is emerging. So a non-existent universe is there before, and from that non-existent universe, the existing universe is born. That is what Sankhya says. We don't agree. Why don't we agree? Because we say the universe was existent before in potential form, right? And so Shankara quotes the example of Vandhya. Vandhya means a lady who is incapable of having a child for whatever reasons, right? She cannot be a mother. So Vandhya Putraha, he says, just like the son of a lady who cannot have a child can never be born, either really or seemingly, right? What is the conclusion? You have to understand very carefully the example. When he says Vandhya Putraha, it means the son of a lady who cannot have a child. Is that an existing child or a non-existing child?
Non-existent.
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 Why?
Bandhya.
Bandhya.
She's Bandhya. She's
She
not
cannot have a
capable
child.
of.
Yeah, she cannot have.
So he says that that child can never be born either really or seemingly. Why so? The hetu, the reason is because Vandhya Putraha, because the lady cannot have a child. Right? Similarly, so he says, if the world were also asat, it could not be born really or seemingly. If the world did not exist, there was no question of the world being born either really or seemingly. But we know that the world is at least seemingly born, and therefore it cannot be asat. So that is the refutation of asat karyavada, right? There is also one more problem with asat karyavada, which I don't know if you have discussed before, but Shankara talks about it. Supposing we say, we accept that the world is not existent, and we accept that out of this non-existent world, this existent universe originates. Right? What are we saying? Out of a non-existing jagat, the existing jagat has come. In other words, the non-existing universe has transformed into the existing universe. Is that clear? When you say asat
Yes.
karyavada, you are saying the
Yes.
non-existing world is transforming
Yes.
into the existing world.
Right.
Therefore, what is the karanam for the existing world?
Hmm.
What is the karanam for the existing world?
Non-existence.
No, we are saying non-existing world has transformed into existing world, right? So by the very statement, it is always the karanam which transfers itself into the, or transforms into the karyam. And therefore, for this transformation, you'll have to say that for this existing world, the non-existing world is the karanam, right? And therefore, you have to say that because of that, Brahman has no role to play at all, because non-existing world has transformed into existing world. Therefore, if you accept asat karyavada, Sankhya philosophy accept, there is no connection between Brahman and Jagat. And if you say that there is no connection between Brahman and Jagat, Brahman can never be revealed by Shastra. Is the logic clear?
Yes, Acharya. It's like, I mean, what little I understood, it's like almost sidelining Brahman in the creation process. The
No, the logic
non-existent.
is, you have to understand, how does Shastra reveal Brahman?
Yeah.
Through what does Shastra reveal Brahman? Through the Mithya
Creation.
Jagat, the Mithya Jagat, through Mithya creation, right?
Mithya
The
creation.
Jagat Karanatvam, the cause of the Karanam status as the creator of the universe is revealed through the Mithya universe. If that connection is not there, it cannot reveal at all. And there is no direct revelation of Brahman possible, because Brahman is not graspable by any of the Indriyas. It is Sarva Indriya Gocharam. And if that is so, then Shankara says Asat Karyavada will result in the idea of Brahman being Asat. And therefore, Asat Karyavada cannot be accepted. So it's a very subtle point, okay? Now, Shankara gives the idea about Mithya, right? Take, for example, the Raju Sarpaha. Raju Sarpaha is what? Rope snake. Now, the point here is extremely subtle. The rope by itself, is it the cause for the snake? Is the Raju the Karanam for Sarpa?
No.
Okay. Now, Ajnanam, is it the cause, is the Karanam for Sarpa?
Both together, Raju as
Uh,
well as Jnanam, together
Right.
are the
So, a very
cause.
subtle point. The rope by itself cannot be sarpa karanam, cannot be the cause for the snake. Ajnanam by itself cannot be the cause for the snake. It has to be ajnanam of the rope, ignorance of the nature of the rope, which is the reason why the snake emerges on the rope. In other words, if you know the rope, that known rope, known in inverted commas, that known rope can never be a cause for the mithya snake. It has always to be the unknown rope, the rope ignorance, which is the cause for the false snake. And therefore the question comes, before the origination of the non-existing mithya snake, was that mithya snake existing in the unknown rope? It's a trick question. Okay. The
Acharya,
non-existent snake,
yes.
does it have an existence in the unknown rope?
No.
If you are saying that it's not there, then it cannot come to being at all.
It is the adhyasa and the
Answer has to
twilight.
be yes. No, the answer has to be yes. And the non-existent snake must be known, must be existing in the, must be potentially existing in the unknown rope. Why do we say
Acharya, I
that?
didn't get it. I didn't get this, Acharya.
The existence of the snake is borrowed from
Yes.
whom?
From the rope. The rope is the one which we think is
If
the
it is
snake.
borrowed from the rope, it must have been there in the rope.
Ah, okay.
And therefore,
Okay,
the
okay.
non-existent, the mithya snake, which you don't know is mithya, right? The snake which you see, that snake is potentially existing in the rope which you don't know. Had you known that it's a rope, the snake wouldn't be there. So the existent snake is potentially existing in the unknown rope. Why do you say that? Because the unknown karanam, asat karanam, cannot give rise to a product at all.
Okay.
Okay, now in what form does this false snake exist in the unknown rope? As the rope itself, because there is no real snake. So the nature of the snake is the same as the nature of the rope. The only problem is you have not understood the nature of the rope, and therefore a superimposition, adhyasa has taken place. Shankara says in the same manner, everything that is created already exists in the form of Ishvara. Everything is Brahman alone. Only because of your ignorance, you are superimposing it as world. It is nothing but Brahman. You are calling it world, just like the same rope you are calling snake. Why do you call the rope snake? Because you don't know the real nature of the rope. Why do you call the world? Because it's actually Brahman. But because you don't know the real nature of Brahman, you are calling Brahman the world. Questions? We'll stop here for today. All right. So with this, we'll stop. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om Om Om.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you, Acharya.